Hey guys, this is Ed, Paul, and Anna of Curb Media, and we are here to tell you a little bit more about our sponsor.
Sportsball is a great subscription service geared towards minor league baseball fans. Each box features a different minor league team.
You get a box every 3 months with minor league baseball gear, including different styles of hats like Ed's favorite, the dad hat. The cost is less than $12 a month.
Proceeds from each box goes to More Than Baseball, the only nonprofit dedicated to the well-being of minor league baseball players.
We all know that Parents' Days are coming up this summer, so if you've got a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa who are particularly difficult to buy for, but you know they're baseball fans, this is the answer, guys.
Meet your new favorite team at sportsballbox.com.
Is there anybody there?
Do you ever wonder what it's like to coach in a minor league system, in a collegiate wood bat team, or affiliated baseball? Well, Dad Hat Crew, wonder no more. On this episode, I sat down and I talked with Robbie Robinson. He is the manager of the St. Lucie Mets. We talked about his trajectory going from college all the way now to being the manager of the Mets, and everything in between, parenthood, support system. It was a fun conversation. So without further ado, guys, I'll give you the episode. All right. Well, I want to welcome you guys to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles. And with me today, I have a very special guest. I have the St. Lucie Mets manager. Excuse me, I apologize. Robbie Robinson. How are you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm excited. We connected a few weeks ago, and then I just threw it out there. Hey, you want to come on the podcast? You were gracious enough to say yes. So nobody knows this, just between you and me. I ran upstairs and told my wife, and I acting like a 5-year-old because, I was like, excited for that. So yeah, but that never happened. Just so you know, that never happened at all. So tell me, growing up, and this is the one question I ask everybody. Actually, you know what? Let me do something first, because I want to go into something before I ask that question, because my friend, you started back in May of 2011 as a graduate assistant at Missouri State, correct?
Correct.
Then you're a bullpen catcher for the Springfield Cardinals, assistant baseball coach is it Pfeiffer University?
That's right.
And then you were in the Northwoods League as a manager for the Battle Creek Bombers.
That's right.
I just wanted to tell you that's one of my favorite leagues. Now they're, Battle Creek Battle Jacks. They recently changed their names. Assistant baseball coach at Riverside City College. Man, I'm just going to go up to a 2018 manager of the Dominican Summer League. Is that correct?
Correct.
The Gulf Coast League, and then the Rochester Red Wings, and that's with the Minnesota Twins, and now you're the St. Lucie Mets. My man, that is impressive.
Yeah, it's been a process. It's very fortunate for every stop. I think that, like, in coaching careers and in baseball life, it's you don't know what the next year brings, but you just try to stay as present as possible where you're at for that year. And that's the approach I've taken. And looking back at all the stops and everywhere that I've been, I've taken a little bit from each guy, from each manager. And I've had an amazing opportunity to learn from some very, very intelligent and bright and new age thinkers, old age thinkers, and just so fortunate for those opportunities, and just right place, right time.
Mm-hmm.
Great programs, great traditions. Missouri State, St. Louis Cardinals, Riverside City College with Dennis Rogers. I mean, the Twins, just, blessed for all those opportunities. But it's just you hear stories of others too, and it's just like, how the stars aligned up, and just the experiences that you get from little money getting paid to no money getting paid to side jobs you got to do to make things work. And that's the beauty of the game, right? Like, how bad do you want it? And it goes back to mindset on our players and the way that we preach about, let's get real, man. The minor leagues are tough. That Northwoods League that you really like, that's a tough summer league.
Yeah.
If guys out there can grind through that and travel around and play the 70 game schedule within a summer, or whatever it is now, that gets you prepared for minor league baseball. And that's a great step and avenue, but it's doing it throughout the whole summer. Yeah, injuries happen. Yeah, like things come up, but sticking through it. And I played in that league too. And it's a grind.
Yeah, it is.
If you want to do this for a living and you want to be in it, there's no better way to start than that summer league and getting your foot in the door, because there's so many things that relate to that. Now looking at it as being at different levels for minor league baseball.
I there's something, I really do appreciate. I've had a couple of players from the Appalachian League, and they tell me, it's like, yeah, we go straight from college, and then you're going, you're playing a minor league schedule. You're playing every day. You're grinding it. It is tough. And I'm glad that you actually echo the same sentiment that they were feeling, because listen, if I don't do it, someone else is going to take my spot. So I got to grind it out every single day, so I can achieve what I want in the future.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, that league, I think, plays the most games in all of summer collegiate, and you're playing in front of 2,000, 3,000. You go to Madison, Wisconsin, and you're playing in front of crazy amount of fans, and the beer night or beer batter
yeah,
there, and it's just like, hey, you want to play AA, AAA? Well, this is the environment that you're going to be in every night, and
every single night. You're going to get heckled every night, so you better step up.
Yep. And there's been some tremendous players that come out of that league, and if we're talking about mascots, maybe or logos, there's some of my favorite in that league too. There's some good ones.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely.
For sure.
Recently, last year, the Madison Mallards, they rebranded, went old school with it, Oh man, I absolutely love, and this already, every November, right? Logovember, you're stay tuned to Twitterverse, because somebody's going to be releasing a new logo or a rebrand or something, right? Alternate uniforms, and it's just so much fun. I think that's why I love the minor league so much, because of that, because and it's so very ingrained into the city and the town in which they're in, and I love that.
For sure.
All right. So let's take it back. Now I'm going to ask you, growing up, how did you become a fan of baseball? What made you say, man, this is my sport?
So growing up, I actually talked to my wife about this the other day, and she's like, you would do this, or you're my grandparents raised me, and I'm super blessed to be raised by them in Southern California, and started playing catch at a young age, and they're like, hey, he's not old enough to play t-ball, but we're going to put him in a year early. And I was like, I don't know, like 3 years old or something playing. It's like, I just mixed in and really enjoyed that sport more than any other. They let me play hockey, football, you name it. I was in it, karate, and it's just like baseball. It's just, that was it. And progressed and played college, played some semi-pro, and I grew up in Southern California, and my grandfather told me about his grandpa back in when he would listen to games on the radio, and they'd listen to the Dodgers, and they listened to Vince Scully, and it was like his grandpa, his dad, and him all sitting there listening to Vince Scully when Vince Scully was just starting out. And it was like, okay, we literally lived like 5 miles away from Anaheim Stadium, but we did not root for the Angels. It was only in our household. So grew up a Dodger fan. Gibson, we got paintings of Gibson doing the double pump, and just, going to games and just having special memories of the Dodgers and, the years that they were there. And then working for different teams, I just feel like when you're with that team, it's like you start to ingrain and you start to understand like the history behind each team. And I take tremendous pride in that. And I know with the Twins, like managing at the younger levels and asking guys that they know who Kirby Puckett is and Torrey Hunter, and like going to some of the guys that were retired. And, and some of the guys are just like, who is that? And it's like, okay. It's more off the field stuff that my job entails of like, hey, we gotta also let you know about the guys that walked this ground before you and like the success that they had and like the ups and downs that they went through. And that's the beauty of the game. That's the part that I love, is like there's a history of this that most people don't know of the Mets, and how they came about and the teams leaving and the color scheme and all that. And all that's just the beauty of the game.
Yeah, that's interesting because I really didn't think about that, right? You're like you're a coach, right? You're teaching them how to play the game, how to approach the game, and all that, which we will touch on. But the history of the team, like you said, why they're called the Metropolitans, right?
Yep.
And things like that, the color scheme. That's interesting. I've never really heard anybody really, say this, like, yeah, we're going to teach you what it's like to be a Met, what is like, back then we're also what it's like to be a Twin, to be in that organization and follow those greats that grind it out, just like you're about to grind it out.
For sure. Yeah. And also hearing from those guys, I know, when players come back and they've had success and they talk about not just the success that they had, but the failures that they had and how they learned from them, it starts to move a little bit of ground. And guys realize that like, oh, like they also experience this too. And it's like, yeah, majority of people do go through this system.
Yeah.
And
there's setbacks.
Years in the minor leagues and are grinding and having to sit on buses and sleep deprived and all the things that come with it, and heckled and all the other things. But the off the field stuff is really the more we can eliminate the minutia, and when we get to the field, how do we check in? Where's your mental state? Everyone and everything, everyone around you has something going on in their life. And for me as a manager to have a little bit of pulse and to rely on my coaching staff to check in with me and check in with players and to know where we're at and see
That's
when it
awesome.
got off. And that's part of what we're trying to do here.
I like that you're approaching it from that side. It's like, hey, well, let's talk. How are you feeling?
Yep.
Need you to talk, you don't hold it in, because if you hold it in, it's going to be worse for you. And then, it's not going to work out. So we talk through it, all that. That's powerful. I love that. That's so, because I've talked to some players and I asked this question. It's like, how much is of a, meditation and all of that part of your training? Obviously you're training your body, which is great, but we can't forget about, training our minds and our heads, because that's just as important, if not more important, because minor leagues, like you said, it's a grind and it's not easy.
For sure. I mean, the mental side of the game is a completely different beast. I like to talk to our guys about just staying consistent. I want our guys, it's the way I look at it is like game one, you come in, you're super pumped, first game of the season, and guys are coming in early, they have positive attitudes, and it's going great. They're there for early work and looking at their uniforms, pumped up for it, and it's like, yeah, like this is a great feeling. Well, how do we create that feeling on game 100 or game 105? How do we consistently stay through that when you're dealing with adversity, when the night before you were on a bus and you were heckled at a field and we got blown out? And how do you recover from that and not let that
get to you?
get to you that the day before like hit you hard. But it's all about, staying here. Okay. Like we're going to have a little bit of this. We're going to have probably a lot more of this, but
Okay.
how do we just keep even ground and come in and just get better day after day after day. And if it's 1% that day, great. Like we're going to take it, we're going to roll with it. We're going to come back the next day and we're going to do it again. But it comes from the energy of our staff, me, how we present, what's our message, and we got to be prepared. We got to plan those things out before the week starts and know what are the things that we're going to work on. And that's where player plans and all those things come into the whole gamut of getting these guys moved on and winning. Not only just like, hey, we gotta get you better, but we also got to develop winning too. And that's a big part of this whole minor league thing. Yeah.
You got to develop that winning mentality. You're right. Yes, winning is good, but it's a winning mentality, which is totally different than, what you see on a scoreboard, right? Because it's, a lot of people are like, oh, winning. No, yeah, winning games. Great. No, winning mentality, okay, you didn't do so good today. I know that tomorrow I'm going to turn around and I'm going to rake out there because that's what I do. And that's what I have to do, in order to achieve what I want.
For sure. Yeah. We try to look at, how did you win that day? And if a guy smoked 4 baseballs right at an outfielder, was out 0 for 4, like, did you, the box score says 0 for 4. Did you do well today or did you not do well? And like majority of the time, like they're going to say, yeah, I did well. But like, they want those hits.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey man, that's what we're actually looking for. We want that consistency because the more you can do that, the more you can smoke baseballs, the better off you're going to be in the long run. They're going to fall. It's just a tough pill to swallow when you see that 0 for 4. Hey, you had 4 at bats and you struck out 3 out of the 4, but you battled. You'd had 12 pitch, 15 pitch at bats, and you stuck in there. Great, like awesome. It's just take it.
It's crazy how, like, and this is how I've been really seeing baseball. It's like, okay, yeah, he had a 15, pitch at bat, right? But think about it that way. It's like, yeah, he didn't get it. He may have struck out, but the pitcher had to work just as hard. So now you've seen everything that he has. It's a chess game.
Yep. You saw everything he has. The guy on deck saw everything he has. The guys start to see his frustration. It starts to come down. You see the guy get up in the bullpen. It changes the mentality. There's a bunch of things that go into that. It's not just you like battling. It's the whole gamut of what's going on. And that starts to change the outlook of the game.
Yeah, it's crazy because as fans, and I've done this, I'm very guilty of this, right? I'm watching a major league game and then I'm thinking, this dude sucks. He's struck out 5 times. What is he doing? He's getting paid millions of dollars. And then I'm like, all right, hold on a second. We got to step back and we got to really look at the whole game because this is a chess game. The pitcher, didn't make it past the 4th inning, but, 5th inning, whatever, but he still struck out. Yeah, but he helped out get that pitcher out early.
For sure.
To get to the bullpen.
Yeah. And the bullpen guys are not the starter. The starter is a starter for a reason.
Yeah.
And to always let our guys know, hitting's the hardest thing to do in sports. The hardest thing to do. It is hard. Okay. And you're going to fail a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And consistently letting them know, here's what we're looking at. Here's what you need to be doing. And you're crushing that, but like you didn't have the result you wanted. We're going to get them the next at bat.
Yeah.
We're going to flush that one. We're going to get the next one. Sweet.
How much of, we're now in 21st century kind of situations. How much of the data and data analytics play a part into your coaching style now? Because it's such a big part of baseball now that you got to look at everything, every angle and all of that.
For sure. Yeah, no, looking back at my playing career, it was so minute and small compared to what it is now. It's a daily thing. We're looking at metrics. We're looking at video paired with metrics. We're looking at, force plate technology, slow motion capture, Rapsodo, and all the other devices that are taken in. And then we're looking also at our internal systems, that like every team has their own internal metrics that they're looking at. Mm-hmm. It's really like, how well do you move your body in space, and how are you gonna capitalize on that and stay consistent with it, and do that day in, day out when you're fatigued and tired and mentally drained. And then you're also facing somebody who's 100 to 102. I mean, I'm talking hitting right now, but
yeah,
how do you do that consistently? And that's really, that's the name of the game, is like just being consistent. And
you're right though, because it's a round bat hitting a round ball. That is as hard as it can get. It's not throwing a basketball or throwing a football or catching it. It's a round bat coming at you at 100+ miles an hour, because everybody's pitching fast now.
It's unbelievable. It's like left, right, 95 is the minimum, and then all of a sudden you got like 18-year-olds throwing upper 90s, lower hundreds, and like it's not this, it's that with turbo sync, and I'm just like, I don't even know if we can catch that anymore. Like, what are we doing?
You as a catcher, right? You're like, how in the world,
my thumb would get blown up. I mean, I still sometimes get back there just because like sorry.
You're good.
See what it looks like, and I'll strap on the gear and catch some pens to give some guys some blows. But it's real, it's live, and it's only getting better day in, day out, and everyone that's getting better is younger. And it is an absolute honor to be in the position that I am. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. You're just like, I'm glad that I'm on the bench as a coach now, that I don't have to catch or even hit these balls.
Definitely won't be hitting that. Nope. Yeah.
So you as a manager, like, you also have to lead by example, right? So I asked this question to some of the players, is, they follow a certain diet. They also follow a workout routine. Do you get in that routine as well with them? Do you work out with them? Is that something that you do as well?
Yeah. I mean, I try to get there early and do some stuff, but I'm big, like, biker, road bike, gravel bike, mountain bike. I've done all sorts of different diets, fads, and things like that. It's probably like, I'm keto this week, or I'm something. I think our
some paleo. We've done I've done them all, bro. I've done them all.
But our nutritionist team does an excellent job with that, and leads our guys in the right direction, and really makes it individualized to each guy, and tries to figure out like what works best. Our strength and conditioning team is top notch, and they assess guys to individual approaches. And I think that's like the whole mentality that we're going for here with the Mets, is that is to make sure that it's not just cookie cutter, and make sure that it's individualized per person, from the nutrition to their workouts to their practice plans to what the game plan is. And I think that's the approach that you need to take if you're going to win and develop in the minor league system.
Because a workout routine is not the same with a pitcher that it is a first baseman. I mean, that's a totally different, routine that they have to follow compared to them. I'm sure.
Yeah. And these guys are just getting smarter as time goes on, right? It's like, we'll get some guys in from the Ivy League, and other guys that train with some high end trainers in the off season, and that's good. Like they come back with like, hey, like this is what I'm used to, or this is what I've done before, and it challenges the way that the things are done, and that's good. Like, let's be honest, like nobody wants to be challenged, but it also gives you a perspective of like, okay,
let's see what we can do.
Yeah, and like, we'll take that into consideration if you are comfortable with that, if that's your routine, if that's what you like to do. And hey, these guys are highly successful human beings being drafted alone at baseball and other things too. But they're successful for a reason. They understand what routine and stuff is, and other guys need a little bit of help more in that realm. But it's good to just take things into consideration of what's worked well.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, how do you approach now? Because the game has gotten so international, which is absolutely amazing. I love it. Me being Puerto Rican, I always look for Puerto Ricans here and there, Hispanic players. How do you manage that culture? Right, it's a mix of cultures in your clubhouse, not just with the Mets, but before. How is it that you approach that aspect of it?
Yeah, it's relationship building. I'm me personally very fortunate that I got my first pro career managing spot in the Dominican Republic. And you look at those teams and you get some guys or about half the roster from Venezuela. You get some guys from Mexico, other guys have come from different Caribbean countries, but that just like gave me a different mindset of just like how much baseball is looked at and a part of the culture, the Latin culture, and just the joy that is brought to the field, the environment, the people, and it's a completely different experience in the United States.
It is.
There's not much of appreciation to what you're doing, and guys are playing baseball at a very young age, at a very high caliber, with minimal stuff, and it's because they want to be a professional. They know at a young age, like, hey, this is gonna set my entire family up for financially, and it's something I'm good at, and there's a reason why. There's a ton of guys coming internationally and taking, like, securing spots. So
good for them, right? I mean, it's like you said, it's like it's an international sport, and I think it's growing super fast right now. It's crazy how fast it's growing. How do you approach game day? Right, because I know a player approaches it different than you. How do you approach it? Like, do you just wake up and then off you go? How is that for you as a manager?
Yeah, I think it comes with the night before prepping, just what the day's going to look like, what we got to look for. The week before, I plan out like what things we're going to work on, and when we're going to have our strength program and science program. Do a really good job of laying out like high, medium, low days, and like when to do high level stress to the body to low level, and also having a read on like, as guys come in daily, like, okay, this guy needs a blow or whatever he needs, like we need to get it to him, or like he hasn't played in a while, how do we get him in? But it comes with prepping before the week starts and the day starts. I think mentally, before I get to the park, I need to be checked in and fully being able to just listen and take in as much as I can from our staff and from our players that are coming in. The better I can listen and hear what's going on, the better off I think that the day goes. But we're going to develop guys in the morning, and then as the game progresses, we're going to compete into that game. Kind of the approach that we're taking. But getting there, walking the locker room, checking in with guys, how are you doing? How's the family? A little bit more off the field stuff when we get there. And then as we get closer to the game, it's more game oriented. Here's the game plan. If I'm working with the catchers that day, what's the pitch profile? And here's the other thing, is like every level is different, right? Like Major League, AAA, AA is going to have a little bit of a different plan and like more focused on maybe the opponent than themselves. And as we get down the pecking order, it's going to be more focused on what do we need to do that day, and maybe a little bit of the opponent. How do we attack them? But they need to progress into understanding, what do I need to do to win today? And then it will get to, how do I beat the opponent?
It's a different kind of win, right? Win
yes.
for me personally versus win with the team,
Yep.
which is again important, right? But it's not something that is being taken into consideration right away.
Yeah, it's also athlete to athlete based as well. Like, some guys might have a little bit more feel of like what the other team's trying to do, and other guys just like really need to focus on them and stick to that approach and trust that approach. So having a feel for that, just, I think just being as present as possible. And I try to preach that as much as I can, that, I got a family, and I got 2 sweet little girls, and my wife who lets me do this. And it's a sacrifice, right? Like, we're here, and but it's a blessing. But I got stuff going on too. It's just like, I'm not going to bring that stuff when I walk through those doors. I'm going to be fully present for you, and we're going to get today done.
I'm glad you brought up family, because it's it's just as much of a work for your wife than it is for you, right? Because now she's at home with your daughters, and you're working, and I'm sure you've said this, and I'll always say this about my wife. Like, I would not be able to do what I'm doing if it wasn't because she helps me, and she pushes me, and she supports me into following up with my dreams.
Yep, 100%. That's without them, the whole thing doesn't click, right? And we got some special wives that are present for our families when we're doing things that we need to do.
Yeah.
And very, very fortunate for just who we have in our lives in that realm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just, it's amazing.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, like I said, it's like without my wife,
yeah.
I would not be able to do this. I enjoy doing it now. I make my videos with my daughter, so it's like that's the most fun I have. That I'm just teaching her the game of baseball from a fan's perspective, right? So, and she loves it. She loves. So I was like, "Hey, Daddy, let's watch some baseball," and I'm like, "Absolutely, let's do this." So why not? So if she's interested in something, I'm gonna, make sure that I fully am in there present with her. But then when I'm working. It's just, that's how that goes.
For sure. Yeah.
How much is it of the work that you do with your coaching staff? That I'm sure that's like, it has to be cohesion. If not, it doesn't work out, right? Because I'm sure you're just, as present with them as it is, teaching the players every day.
Yeah. I mean, just a little bit of like intel of like what we do, but we meet on a daily basis to discuss what we're accomplishing for that day, and go over each department of positionally or offensively, defensively. What are we trying to get accomplished today? And my coaches they're studs, man. Like, I'm there to assist them, and when they have questions or they need me to help in and step in, that's what I'm going to do. But trying to be as present for them as possible, because we got 4 coaches, and then me, and then some strength staff and medical staff. But just trying to help out when you can and try to spread that out as much as possible is really what I'm trying to do. Is hey, they have their voice, and they're going to do that, and it's not going to be me micromanaging it. It's going to be me supporting them, and when they need them, I'm going to be there. But without that communication, and they've done a great job of that and letting me know their needs, and we've yet to really grind gears. I mean, we're starting spring training right now, but I have some experience with some coaches that are on staff, and got some new ones, and it's all about getting to know them and what makes them tick. And I think that's that like catching background that I have.
Yeah.
Is how do I get the most out of him, and what is it that he needs from me approach.
Who was the growing up and when you were developing into a catcher and to eventually following up as a manager, who was the one player that you looked up to that you wanted to be like, I want to be like this?
Yeah, Mike Piazza.
Oh yeah, that dude could rake.
That was my dude. And when he went over to the Mets, I was heartbroken. It was like, no way. Like this is the Dodgers. Like, this is their guy. But now that I'm with the Mets, it's like, great.
Yes. Yeah, he's awesome.
For me. But that was the guy that I always like looked at, and I didn't know. I mean, tremendous hitter, but like okay catcher, but tremendous leader, tremendous guy overall. And I just love, I think, more of the hitting side of him. That was always the
then you're like, oh, maybe you should probably be a DH from now on, or first base. Let's leave the catching up to somebody else. We didn't say that, Mike. I'm sorry. We didn't say that at all. Hopefully you didn't hear it. You don't hear this podcast. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, he was a good player. Like I said, he could rake. He was good. He played in the I believe he played in the World Baseball Classic for Italy, I think, at one point. So I was like, okay, good for him. I like it.
Who's your guy?
Growing up, when you grow up in Puerto Rico, you automatically gravitate. So, the first person was, Clemente. That's your guy right there. You always wanted to be just like him. But me, I wanted to be a catcher. I only made it to maybe half a season in freshman because my knees are just not that good. But I wanted to be like Sandy Alomar.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What a stud.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That dude.
He's such a stud.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So I wanted to be like him. I met him and I was like, this dude is huge. I'm like, if he's this tall and he can play catcher, I can do it. I couldn't. I found out real early that I could not make it as a catcher or as a ball player. I could not. It wasn't in the cards for me.
Yeah.
It's okay. It happens. I'm doing this and I enjoy it, and talking to awesome people like you. So it all worked out in the end. So before I go into my famous, not so famous questions, my friend, anything else that we should know about you that you wanted to say or anything like that?
Well, I mean, thank you so much for the opportunity. I found your podcast on Twitter, or your night Wednesday one, and man, you guys crush it, man. I've checked in a couple times and I was like, ooh, this is intriguing. Because I love logos. I love looking at that stuff. And I try to do a little bit of logo stuff on the side myself and just try to see what works. But you guys are doing a tremendous job, and I can't thank you enough for enhancing that environment and what you guys are doing. It's great for the game and great for what's going on. So thank you. And thank you for having me on here.
We love the minors. In the community that we're part of, is the minor leagues are just one of the most fun things that you can do. Cause like you said, it's like, we all love logos. That's how me and Paul, we met, I bought his book, and then from then on, it was just, it was a good friendship, and now look at us, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. And hey, listen, you're more than welcome to come to our show every day, because we talk about different stuff when it comes to the minors. So
for sure.
All right. Are you ready, my friend?
Ready.
All right. Easy question. You go to the ballpark as a fan with your family. What's the first thing that you get, your drink or food of choice?
Yeah. So it's usually for my daughter, and we're probably going for my oldest daughter. She's always gravitating towards when we go to games, but it's something along the lines of popcorn, candy, something.
Lots of sugar.
It's whatever she sees first. She's 3 years old. And it's like, oh, dad. I'm like, okay, it was something that she's gravitating
My
towards.
daughter's 3 years old. She was all about the cotton candy, popcorn, and everything in between when I took her to a game. So yeah, I'm there with you, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Last song that you have downloaded or listened to?
Oh, something with Dave Matthews. I'm a big Dave Matthews fan.
My wife is a huge Dave Matthews fan.
Man, he's really good. I think Stay or Leave by Dave Matthews.
Okay, I like it. What's your spirit animal?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
See, to me, like, it's also my my zodiac, but it's like, a rooster it is for me. It's always been, because I'm loud and colorful, and then my wife tells me, like, yeah, you're right, that's your spirit animal.
All right. Yeah, if it was a test that my wife could give me, then I've probably done it, because she makes me do the personality test. You are at, and I don't line up with some things, and she's like, oh yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah,
you're right.
I don't know.
She does that. She does that to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Worst job you've ever had?
Probably an Uber driver. I mean, I was an Uber driver while I was coaching college baseball, just to try to get the bills paid. And I had a couple puking incidents in the car, and I had to shut. It was very, very bad. That was, yeah. I don't do good with puke, and when it's in your car and it's like, this is not going to work.
Get out.
Yeah.
I've been there. It's like, you know what? I don't do puke either. I'll clean up poop and all that. That's what I told my wife. I was like, babe, I'll clean up poop all day long. Puke, you are on your own.
No, I get the feeling. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's right.
Nope. Can't.
Let me ask you, because you said something that's like, when you were a coach, you had a part-time job as an Uber driver.
Yeah.
How? Because it doesn't pay to be much in the college ranks, really, to do become assistant coach. Like, man, you got that mentality you got to have, or to grind it out, right?
Yeah. At one point, I was a volunteer baseball coach. I was working at a gym teaching boxing lessons and cycling class, and giving like one-on-one workouts with just like a degree. And then I was Ubering at night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m, because that was like the hot hours, and you'd get paid triple the amount of money. And I just like turn that on and go. And I mean, I think throughout my entire career, I've just tried to grind and do that as much as I could. But it's a grind, man. I mean, if you want to be in this profession, you want to be a successful baseball coach, like, usually you're starting at that volunteer position, and usually like you just got to grind and be on the road and figure out the rest.
Hey man, kudos to you. Mad respect for that, my friend. Mad respect for that. All right, now back to our questions. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
It's a wrong answer, but it's okay. I'll forgive you for that. Don't worry about it.
Pepper?
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. I'll go with Dr. Pepper. Yeah,
I'm way more Dr. Pepper guy than you.
Favorite movie snack?
Man. I don't really have any snacks, but if I had to, it would probably be a sour candy of some sort, sour straw.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
I like that.
Sour guy.
Okay. Let's see. If animals could talk, which animal do you think would be the rudest animal?
I'm a
And I've gotten all of them, right? I've gotten cat, I've gotten hippopotamus for some reason. I got a rhino, so I've gotten everything in between.
yeah. We go to the zoo so much too. I'm trying to go through my zoo animals. And we do that like 3 times a week in the off season. I might think like an alligator. Like I think they're just kind of,
They know they can eat you. They're a-holes. Yeah. I got that. I like that one. Let's see. What's the one TV show that you recently binged?
What's the I don't watch many shows. I'm mainly like ingrained in baseball or kids.
Same here. Yeah, we watch a lot of Encanto in my house.
Encanto was a hit. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Encanto.
I take her to daycare every day, and it has to be Encanto all the way there.
Oh yeah. We don't talk about
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one. But probably the Star Wars one, The Mandalorian was whatever recently.
And Boba Fett, right? That one, yeah, those 2 series are good. And then there's another one coming in May. Yep.
I think that's more of like what I've gravitated towards, but it's Disney and it's what's the Sing 2? Oh my goodness.
I have not showed her that one yet because it's all between Frozen, Moana, and Encanto. So we're all on those 3 right now.
Yeah, but Sing 2, and it's amazing. Like we did it by accident because my 1-year-old pressed rent and they're just $20. And so we got it for 48 hours. So we watched it like 6 times. So I'm like, we're getting the most out of this thing.
We pay for it. We're gonna watch it. Watch it again.
I almost took my phone out and videoed it. But it comes out the end of this month. I got the notification. So
my God. Yeah, Disney Plus has been a savior in this house. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
I get that. Favorite board game?
Like Monopoly.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to run it up, and yeah, that's yeah.
Excuse me. Let's see here. I just had one really good one here, and then of course it went away. What was your nickname growing up?
I got Rob Dog. I got Bert.
Bert?
Yeah, Bert was a good one for a little bit. Robbie Rob, R Squared.
I got you. Yeah,
I got some. Just depends on like what friend group you're talking.
You were hanging out with that day.
When I get the Bird, I know it's like some older old like.
What is the dumbest way that you've ever been injured?
I stood in. We wanted to see if we can get the pitching machine up to over 100 miles per hour, and we got it up to like 95, and then we cranked it, and I stood in on it, and it literally hit me in the jaw.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
it hit me square, but it was riding, and it like hit me and then bounced to the dugout, and it was. I thought I broke it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was it puffed up very big. I didn't think that it would do that, but it did. Like when you start to dial up the machine and it's revving, it's like
yeah.
No, like you got to make sure it's dialed, and it was a very poor move on my part to stand in the box.
Yeah, from now on, from that moment, I was like, nah, you know what, we're good right now.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yep.
Yeah. I just did a jumping jack and then I hurt my back. So there goes that. That's like, for me, I'm like an idiot. So there you go. Okay.
Sorry. I had another one too that we did my senior year of college. We did Omaha series, and me and a couple other guys thought it would be hilarious too. We had swimming day that day, and we thought that we would come in like Speedos and in front of the team and like parade around. Mm-hmm. And what our plan was to do like these dives, like sideways, like into the pool and like make it a scene and whatnot. And the other two guys dove in at one part of the pool, and I dove in on the shallow part of the pool and didn't realize it was shallow. And I busted my forehead open and had to get quite a few stitches across my and carried out of the pool into the hospital. So that was a pretty epic move too. And
Yeah.
The volleyball team was fully present for that one. I was super embarrassed in my Speedo with a blood face. So it was very very memorable for many people other than myself.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's great. It just you're in the hospital in your Speedo, face full of blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember my head coach like pulled me up out of the water. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know."
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, go to the hospital.
Oh my God. Oh, that's amazing. This is great. A few more here. Okay. Tacos or burritos?
Burrito.
Good man. Great answer.
Thanks.
Hamburgers or hot dogs?
Hamburger.
Okay. Now, this is a question that I put recently on my Twitter, and I wanted to know if when you're eating a hot dog, ketchup on a hot dog, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Good man. That's a great answer. There's a lot of hate on this one. Let me tell you.
I saw that. Yeah. No, I read that tweet. I think I put yay on there too. Because you had the poll going.
Yeah, I had the poll going, and I'm like, okay, why is this? There's so much hate. I mean, I get a Chicago dog. I get that, guys. My buddy Kelly, he's from Chicago. I get it.
That was my point. Was I think it also depends on what type of dog. But
right. If it's
for me is yes.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a normal hot dog, then yes, it's absolutely. There's nothing wrong. Mustard as well. There's stadium mustard and all that, but that's a whole different, poll right there. So
yeah.
Honestly, thank you so much, Robbie, for doing this. This was a lot of fun. I laughed a lot. Where can people find you on social media?
I don't even know my
I'll put it on the show notes. How's that?
Okay. Part of my first name with my last name, I think, with a number. But yeah, I mainly am just Twitter. Instagram's mainly like family stuff.
That's how it goes.
B's dad. Yeah, my oldest daughter's LEB, so it's B's dad. But mainly just Twitter.
Yeah, that's for me. It's been Twitter mostly, just interacting with people. So it's been a lot of fun. So again, thank you so much. Good luck to you. I'll be keeping track for the Mets. Question. Let them know. We need some more dad hats on the team. Okay.
Yeah.
They need to put some cool dad hats out there so I can put them on my wheel.
For sure. I'll be. You don't have a St. Lucie Mets hat, right?
I do not. I actually do not own a St. Lucie Mets hat. I wish I did. That STL looks awesome. I love it. So
we're gonna change that. And that podcast that we talked, and I was heading to San Diego, and whoever threw out the St. Lucie Sand Sharks.
Yeah,
that was big time.
Yeah, I was
the hills of San Diego, and my daughter also, she puked. And so we were having some technical difficulties with everything.
I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I tried to chime in, and then it was no bueno. And but somebody threw that out, and I was like that is a great idea. So
yeah,
we'll see. Maybe a theme night or something. I don't know. I'll propose it to them and see what they think.
I like it. I think that's great. Yes, sir. So, hey, good luck again. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Let's do this again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Take care.
You too, bud.
Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode with Robbie Robinson. He's a good dude with a lot of experience in coaching. So make sure you guys are following him on Twitter. I will be putting his social media account so that way you guys are just one click away on following him, okay? Now, before I go, make sure you guys are doing a couple things for me, okay? If you like this episode, if you like the show, make sure you guys are subscribed, okay? Give it 5 stars. And then if you want to leave a comment, please do so. Maybe you'll hear it on the next episode. All right, guys? Until then, keep on grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.